Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day before we begin the video. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Roman Reigns has done what Paul Heyman was most afraid of. During WWE SmackDown, the tribal chief literally walked away from him. The wise man stood in the parking lot waiting for Roman Reigns to pull up to the arena. The whole night, he was waiting for him nervously. During the wait, Heyman even gave a shout-out to CM Punk, letting him know that whatever the favor was, the answer was yes. He could not take it anymore. Although he seemed to be doing this reluctantly, it gave Punk everything he wanted without even revealing what it was. When Roman Reigns arrived, it's safe to say that he was unhappy with the wise man. However, later, they stood in the ring together. He didn't even wait to greet Heyman before going to the ring. He walked right past him, and Heyman had to run to keep up with the tribal chief, who was focused on only one thing: his WrestleMania opponent. Reigns was quite furious and seemed incensed. He seemed to put it all aside once again when he got in the ring, and didn't react badly to Heyman's presence. But he was ready to confront CM Punk instead. Roman Reigns, the undisputed and dominant face of WWE, has made headlines once again. But this time, it's not for his in-ring performances or championship reigns. Instead, the latest buzz in the WWE universe centers around the shocking and unexpected decision made by Reigns to walk away from his longtime advocate, Paul Heyman. For years, Heyman has been a fixture by Reigns' side, crafting his narrative, speaking on his behalf, and ensuring that the tribal chief's reign at the top of the WWE food chain remained uninterrupted. However, in a turn of events that no one saw coming, Roman Reigns has chosen to sever ties with the man who has been instrumental in building his character and dominance. This monumental moment marks the end of an era in WWE, and the implications are far-reaching, not only for Reigns himself, but also for the entire company. Fans, analysts, and wrestlers alike have been left stunned and wondering. What led to this shocking decision, and what does it mean for the future of Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and WWE as a whole? The history between Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman dates back to 2020, when Heyman was initially brought in as Reigns' special counsel. At that time, Reigns had just made his return to WWE after a lengthy hiatus due to the global pandemic. Upon his return, he was immediately positioned as the top heel in the company, and the decision to pair him with Heyman was a stroke of genius by WWE's creative team. Heyman, known for his unparalleled mic skills and his ability to sell any angle, became the perfect mouthpiece for Reigns, whose character transformation into the tribal chief became one of the most compelling storylines in recent WWE history. With Heyman at his side, Reigns solidified himself as a force to be reckoned with, dismantling opponents and claiming victory after victory, all while maintaining an air of invincibility. Under Heyman's guidance, Roman Reigns' persona evolved from a well-liked but somewhat stale babyface to a ruthless, arrogant champion. The dynamic between the two was simple yet effective. Heyman would speak for Reigns, managing the public narrative and keeping the spotlight on his client, while Reigns would focus on dominating his opponents in the ring. It was a partnership that worked wonders, and together, they formed a menacing duo that would dominate the WWE landscape for years to come. Reigns captured the Universal Championship, and the storyline of his reign as the tribal chief became an integral part of WWE programming. With Heyman's strategic influence, Reigns was positioned not only as the top star on SmackDown, but also as the face of the entire company. However, as with all great stories, nothing lasts forever. The first seeds of doubt in the Reigns-Heyman partnership began to surface during recent months. There were subtle changes in Reigns' character that began to hint at the possibility of him becoming more independent, perhaps questioning the need for Heyman's constant presence by his side. Fans started noticing small, but telling moments where Reigns would glance at Heyman with a mix of contempt and confusion, almost as if he were beginning to outgrow the need for the special counsel. These moments were subtle, but they weren't lost on the more astute members of the WWE universe. In recent weeks, the tension between the two has been palpable, and it became clear that the inevitable was approaching, a break between Reigns and Heyman. The culmination of this tension came on a recent episode of SmackDown, during a backstage segment that would go down as one of the most dramatic moments in WWE. Roman Reigns was preparing for a big match when Paul Heyman approached him, as he always did, to offer his counsel. However, instead of the usual respectful interaction, Reigns seemed to grow increasingly frustrated. Heyman, sensing the tension, tried to ease the situation with one of his signature speeches, but Reigns wasn't having it. In a moment that stunned the audience, Reigns delivered a scathing remark to Heyman, telling him that he no longer needed him and that it was time for them to part ways. Heyman, ever the professional, tried to convince Reigns that he was integral to his success, but Reigns was resolute in his decision. With a look of disdain, Reigns turned his back on Heyman and walked away, leaving the advocate standing there, speechless and visibly shaken. The crowd erupted in shock, unable to believe what they had just witnessed. Roman Reigns had just walked away from Paul Heyman, the man who had helped elevate him to the heights of WWE superstardom. The moment was not just a shock to the fans. It was a seismic shift in the dynamics of WWE's top storylines. The question on everyone's mind was, why? Speculation quickly began to swirl about the reasons behind Reigns' decision to part ways with Heyman. Some fans believe that Reigns had simply outgrown the need for an advocate, having achieved everything he could with Heyman by his side. Reigns, after all, had established himself as one of the most dominant champions in WWE history. His reign as the tribal chief was built on his own strength, charisma, and ability to dominate the competition. Perhaps, in his mind, he no longer needed Heyman to speak for him or to help elevate his status. After all, Reigns was already at the top of the mountain, and it was time for him to assert his dominance on his own terms. Others speculate that the decision was motivated by personal reasons. Perhaps Reigns felt that Heyman had become too much of a crutch, limiting his potential for growth as a character. Reigns has always been known for his desire to be the best, and perhaps he saw the partnership with Heyman as something that was holding him back from fully realizing his potential. By walking away from Heyman, Reigns could be signaling that he was ready to take full control of his narrative and his career without the need for an external figure to guide him. Another possibility is that Reigns' departure from Heyman could be the beginning of a new chapter in his story. WWE has always excelled at evolving its top stars, and Reigns is no exception. His decision to part ways with Heyman could signal the start of a new rivalry or storyline, one that might involve a different manager or advocate. Perhaps WWE is setting the stage for a new partnership or even a more isolated, loner-like character for Reigns, as he continues his journey as the tribal chief. The ramifications of this split are significant, not just for Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, but for the entire WWE landscape. For Reigns, this marks the end of one of the most iconic and successful partnerships in recent memory. It will be interesting to see how WWE handles Reigns moving forward, as the company now faces the challenge of building new storylines for their top star without the constant presence of Heyman. Fans will no longer have the dynamic between the two to rely on, and the question remains whether Reigns will be able to maintain his status as the top dog in WWE without Heyman by his side. For Paul Heyman, the future is equally uncertain. Heyman is one of the most charismatic and influential figures in WWE history, and his partnership with Reigns had elevated both men to new heights. Now, with Reigns walking away, Heyman finds himself at a crossroads. Will he align himself with another top star? Could Heyman find a new client to represent, perhaps someone who is in need of the kind of strategic guidance and advocacy that only he can provide? Or will this split signal the end of his role as a manager, at least for the time being? Whatever happens, one thing is clear: Paul Heyman's next move will be one to watch closely. The fallout from this moment will be felt for weeks, if not months, as fans eagerly anticipate what's next for Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and the WWE Universe as a whole. Will Reigns' decision to walk away from Heyman be the catalyst for a new era in WWE? Or will it mark the beginning of a massive power struggle within the company? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure. Roman Reigns' decision to sever ties with Paul Heyman has created an unpredictable and exciting future for WWE. The road to the next chapter in Reigns' career is now wide open, and the possibilities are endless. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our YouTube channel for more update news.